Okay, Exodus Bible study, starting chapter 8, verse 1. We're only going to cover the first 15 verses here. The Lord spake unto Moses, Go to Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Let my people go. This is the fourth time Pharaoh is not getting the message. How many of you have ever tried to deliver a message to somebody who doesn't want to get the message? Like the atheists I debate, okay? They don't want to get that message. All right. Let my people go. And if thou refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs. Why would God do this? Why would he smite the border of Egypt with frogs? Why not armadillos? I mean,
armadillos don't give warts, man.
It turns out frogs were sacred in ancient Egypt. They thought the frog was a god. In ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia, frogs symbolized fertility. While in classical antiquity, the Greeks and Romans associated frogs with fertility, harmony, and licentiousness, frogs are the subject of fables attributed to Aesop, of proverbs in various cultures, and of art. Now, they thought the frog was God. It's called their Egyptian god, Heket, or Hequet, however you pronounce that. Most thinking people would agree it is dumb to worship a frog. How many of you believe it would be completely stupid to worship a frog? Okay.
Or any spirit who lived.
But the current universe came into existence 14 billion years ago through an explosion, the Big Bang, from an infinitely dense point. So these guys think a frog created everything. These guys think an infinitely dense point created everything. I think the infinite density is between their ears, okay? If you believe that, you're as dumb as the guy who believed a frog could create something, okay? Probably dumber. Anyway, they say it happened 13.772 billion years ago, plus or minus 59 million years. Boy, they got that narrowed down, okay. So they believe a Big Bang created the universe. Now hold it. I think most thinking people would agree it's dumb to worship a dot of nothing that exploded into an ordered universe and made life. I think that's dumber than thinking a frog did it. Most thinking people know it's dumb to worship time, space, energy, and matter as the gods that created an ordered universe and life. I think that's dumb to think time, energy, matter could do all this by itself. Now, if you want to believe that, that's fine. But the Egyptians were just, it's moron to think a frog could have any power over your life. But they did. They worshiped the frog god. So God said, oh, I'm going to show them. The river shall bring forth frogs abundantly, which shall go up and come into thine house, and into thy bedchamber, and upon thy bed, and into the house of thy servants, and upon thy people, and into thine ovens, and into thy kneading troughs. And the frog shall come up both on thee, and upon thy people, and upon all thy servants. And the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, Stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. And so they did. Frogs everywhere. There was a plague of frogs. I didn't get time to locate the city where this was, but they were like all of a sudden, like bazillions of little baby frogs were born. Came up everywhere, plagued the whole place. Is it Australia where they have the problem with the cane frog? What's the place where the cane frogs, the people purposely drive down the street trying to smash as many as they can because they're just like bazillions of them. I think it's Australia. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Egyptians probably were not allowed to kill the frog because they worshipped.
Right, you can't step on God. Gee whiz. I don't see how the atheists drive on the highway. It's made out of rocks. That's your grandpa, for heaven's sake, show some respect. Don't drive on. You know they take rocks, your grandpa, put them all together with cement and put them out flat and make highways, and you guys drive right over them. Show some respect. Aaron stretched out his hand over the waters of Egypt, and the frogs came up and covered the land of Egypt. And the magicians did so with their enchantments and brought up frogs upon the land of Egypt. Now, the magicians were using magic, trickery. They would pretend to be doing something. There's only twice they did it, though. The second plague was a horde of frogs sent among the Egyptian people, and the magicians summoned their own frogs as well, adding to the problem rather than alleviating it. Watch this, Pharaoh. We can add to the problem. Hello? Think about that for a minute. After this, however, the magicians' power stopped. They were unable to replicate any further plagues, and they acknowledged that they were witnessing the finger of God in Moses' signs. Whether they were creating illusions or performing actual miracles, the Egyptian magicians were actually stymied by God's power. They were unable to summon gnats, turn the sky dark, call down hailstones, or duplicate any of the other plagues. God's power is great enough to defeat both man's cunning and Satan's power. It is a trick. I told you I do a lot of magic tricks, like I have my magic rope here. If you take an ordinary rope like this, 1/4-inch nylon rope, put left side over the right side, very important, left over right. If you get it right under the hyoid bone, just above the Adam's apple, between the third and fourth cervix, and pull really hard. Just a minute now, just a minute.
Oh, man.
You can pull it through your neck.
What?
Would you like to see it again?
Yeah.
All right. If you take 1/4-inch nylon rope, put it around your neck like this, left over right, and pull really hard, you will kill yourself, okay? What I did when you weren't watching was tuck it down in my shirt here. And for the last 20 minutes, I've had it sitting where it looks like it's around my neck, but it's not. It's already in front. So when I pull like this, you shrug your shoulders a little bit to hold it in, and actually it's coming out from under your shirt. Yay, okay. So the magician, did I have you fooled? Yeah, Julie, we fool you on everything, okay? Okay, so we got to videotape magic tricks and how to do them. Your kids will love it, get all that stuff. Okay, then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron and said, "Entreat the Lord that he may take away the frogs from me and from my people, and I will let the people go." Whoa, now Pharaoh's starting to change his heart here. He said, "If you'll get rid of these frogs, I'll let the people go." Oh, this is new. Remember the last plagues? He said, "No, I ain't letting them go. I don't care what you do. That they may do sacrifice unto the Lord." And Moses said unto Pharaoh, but watch this carefully now. This is one of the dumbest things in the history of humanity. You ready? Moses said to Pharaoh, "Glory over me. When shall I entreat for thee and for thy servants and for thy people to destroy the frogs from thee and thy house, that they remain in the river only?" So, okay, Moses said, "Pharaoh, when would you like to get rid of the frogs?" Simple question, right? And he said, "Tomorrow." Pharaoh, I think the lights are on, but nobody's home. How about today, like right now? Nope, tomorrow. And he said, "Be it according to thy word, that thou mayest know that there is none like unto the Lord our God." There's a classic song called "One More Night with the Frogs."
Thing I found about this man called Pharaoh, he brought plagues all over town.
One more night with the stinking frogs. One more night in sin. Of all the dumb answers to give, hey, Pharaoh, when would you like to get rid of all these frogs? Tomorrow. Stop and think about that. What is wrong with this guy? The same thing wrong with a lot of people today. Some people have habits and problems and things. I'm going to give it up tomorrow. Just one more, and then I'm quitting. Just one more beer, and then I'm going to quit. One more joint, and then I'm going to quit. Okay. I saw that picture. I thought, wow. I only get one more joint, so we're going to make it a big one. Okay. I'm just going to watch one more X-rated movie, and then I'm going to quit. Okay. I'm just going to have one more argument with the wife for husband, and then I'm going to quit. She said, "If I were your husband, I'd poison your coffee." He said, if you were my wife, I'd drink it." The thief says, "I really got to quit this stealing stuff. I'm just going to steal one more time, and then I'm going to quit." The people who have extramarital affairs, just one more time, one more, and then I'm going to quit. Isn't that the same as Pharaoh wanting one more night with the frogs? Hello? Those who curse and swear say, "Man, I got to clean up my mouth. Tomorrow, I'm going to clean it up." People that overeat.
One more box of chocolate.
One more Twinkie, and then I'm quitting.
That's a hard one, though. That's hard, though.
just one more, and then I'm going to quit. When you going to quit gaining weight? Tomorrow. I'm going to start going for walks tomorrow. I'm going to quit these bad habits tomorrow.
Now you have to include yourself in there.
When are you going to get up and go to work, son? Well, just one more TV show, and then I'm going to get up. Look, we're just as dumb as Pharaoh sometimes, okay? Pharaoh, when you want to get rid of these frogs? Tomorrow. Got to have one more night with them stinking frogs. Could have had rest, peace, and sleep. No, had to have one more night with the frogs. And for Hebrews chapter 12, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us. Every one of us probably has a sin or two or three or four that we really have a hard time overcoming. You struggle with something. What is it? Everybody's got some kind of sin they struggle with. A besetting sin, a sin which does so easily beset us. Paul said, get rid of it, get running. You know, a person who's running in a race, Olympics or something, they got to be careful what they eat. They got to be careful to train. They don't want to carry any extra weight around. It's that way in the military. You don't want to, any extra weight on your fighter jet. They figured, what's the guy's name, went to the moon and hit the golf ball? Was that Armstrong did that? Went up there and brought a golf club to hit. They calculated the cost of getting that extra weight of that golf club and golf ball up there was phenomenal. A lot of money just for those few extra ounces, the cost of fuel to get there. So the sin which does so easily beset us. Having therefore these promises, dearly beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit. We need to be looking at our life and say, okay, God, what are you not pleased with? What are you not happy with? And get rid of it. If we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Jesus Christ, his Son, cleanseth us from all sin. Simple. If we say we have no sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins. And to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. If we say we have not sinned, we make him a liar, and his word is not in us. So we're just about like Pharaoh. When are you going to quit that bad habit? Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Think about it. Pharaoh, not too bright. And the frog shall depart from thee, and from thy house, and from thy servants, and from thy people. They shall remain in the river only. And Moses and Aaron went out from Pharaoh, and Moses cried unto the Lord because of the frogs which he had brought upon against Pharaoh. Now, keep in mind, when the frogs died, this left behind another problem. This is what they worshipped as their God. The Lord did according to the word of Moses, and the frogs died out of the houses, out of the villages, and out of the fields. And they gathered them together upon heaps, and the land stank. Here they are, gathering up their dead God into piles. They had a whole bunch of God. Wait till you get, I've been working on this for a couple of days. I've been doing research on each one of the Egyptian gods. And some of you parents that let your kids watch cartoons today, you will be shocked when you see how many of the Egyptian gods are in the modern cartoons. I'll show that maybe tomorrow if I get there. We're trying, okay? But when Pharaoh saw there was respite, he hardened his heart and hearkened not unto them as the Lord had said. Some people, they turn to God and they promise all kinds of things when things are going bad, and then as soon as it turns around, oh, okay, forget it, never mind. Go right back to their stinking frogs, don't they? As soon as things start going good, they get sick, get in the hospital. Oh, God, I promise I'm going to change my diet. Okay. And then they get well and get out of the hospital, and they don't change their diet. They don't take any vitamins. They go back to the same old thing. What are you doing? I picked up a guy hitchhiking once. I've told the story before. He wanted to smoke in my car. I said, no, please don't. The smell stays here for months after you're gone. I said, what do they cost? Back then, he said, $1.75 a pack. I said, how many do you smoke a day? He said, 2.5 packs. So I got my calculator on my watch. I said, 2.5 times $1.75. I said, how many of these do you smoke a day? He said, 2.5. I said, do you do this every day? He said, yeah, every day. I said, times every day. I said, how long have you been doing this? He said, 30 years. Times 30. It was $50,000. I said, sir, You could have bought 2 brand new Corvettes back then. Brand new. You could have bought 5 Toyotas, Hondas, rollerblades, skateboards. Nope. You decided to buy a cloud instead. And now you're out here with your thumb out asking me for a ride because you couldn't get your cloud started, could you? One more night with the frogs. I ask people, if you had all the money back you've ever spent on alcohol, what could you buy? I was in prison for a long time with a lot of these kind of guys, you know. Paul, we witnessed to them and stuff, and many of them spent a fortune. But you do it just a little bit at a time. Just one more night with the frogs. And they don't realize the unbelievable expense, not only the financial expense, the expense on their health and on their family and everything else around them. They lose their job. What's the frogs in your life you want to spend just one more night with? Think about it. If you really prayed about it and said, God, would you please help me? I've got a besetting sin like Hebrews chapter 12. Lord, help me get rid of this sin. This is wrong. Lord, please help me. Maybe it's laziness. I don't know. Profanity. I remember when I first got saved, I was afraid to open my mouth and talk because I used to curse and swear so bad. We had competition as teenagers. Who can say the most curse words in 10 seconds? I talk fast. I can talk really fast. I had the record in the school. Well, can you imagine that? And after I gave my heart to the Lord, age 16, got saved, I was afraid to talk. I'd see my friends in the hallway and say, hello, how are you doing? I'd run it over in my head first before I say it. It took me a while. It was a bad habit. Bad habits are hard to get rid of. But God will help you with that. Just say, Lord, help me. I got to get rid of that. I don't want to spend one more night with these frogs. I don't want to spend one more night with them. Get rid of the sin in your life. Say, God, help me. First of all, you got to give your heart to the Lord and get saved. You got to be one of in his family. See, if he's on the inside working, it's very different than if he's on the outside. If you called me up and said, Kent, my kitchen sink is running water all over the place. Can you fix it? I say, yeah, man, I've done plumbing all my life. I'll be right there. So I come over there with my toolbox, knock on the door, say, I'm here to fix your sink. And you say, well, boy, am I glad you're here, but listen, the house is kind of a mess. I really don't want you to come in. Can you fix it from the front yard? No. See, first I have to come in, and then I can start fixing the sink. Like, duh. Okay? First you got to let Jesus come in, and then he can start fixing things in your life. It might take him a while to fix some things. It might take him a long time to fix some things, but get him in there first. Ask him, receive him. The Bible says if you receive him, John 1:12, you become a child of God. It's like planting a seed. The seed knows how to make the tree, not the dirt. Dirt is stupid. You get the seed into the dirt and the seed makes the tree. It's cool. You get Jesus inside and then just add water and he'll grow and start changing you from the inside. It's amazing. Now the devil wants to trick you and fool you into thinking, well, let's get rid of that sin tomorrow. Because he knows then tomorrow he can say, well, let's go one more day. All right, let's go one more day. Let's go. He knows you'll keep, how many of you have ever had a bad habit you tried to lick and you kept postponing it day after day after day after day? Yeah. Think about it.